Who was that line? Who was the running back from the Seahawks, Alex? I'm about that action, boss.
Marshawn Lynch.
There you go. Marshawn Lynch is the philosopher, the famous American poet. Just take care of your minnows, your balls, and your chickens. How about that, Tony?
Yeah.
What's your favorite Marshawn Lynch year?
It was probably the year that they lost the Super Bowl, like right at the very. What was that?
Against the Patriots.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 49 on second and dumb. Yes. Worst play call in the history of the National Football League. Yes. But couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I will say that than Marshawn Lynch. So there we go.
Wow. Well, okay. I love that stuff.
Oh, bad person. And it's really funny how, he has been sanitized, if you will, because obviously you get the whole NFL shtick and I'm only here because I would get fined and things like that. This guy would go out of his way to make life miserable for the media trying to do their job. And it's not just trying to talk to him. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Tony, let's say your locker is next to Marshawn Lynch's locker.
Right.
I go up and try to interview you. Marshawn Lynch turns his radio up or his music up as loud as he possibly can.
Wow.
You can't do the interview. These are things that happen with him on a regular basis. So I just, anything that might befall Marshawn Lynch that isn't all that great. I'm not talking about physical damage or anything like that, but things like that, where you don't get the ball in the Super Bowl and your team loses. I'm okay with that. We're good there.
I love it.
Good. Yeah, karma.
Yeah, I'm not a Hall of Fame voter either. I'm just want to point that out. Sorry.
Boy, I love when Marvez is good and fired up in the morning. What do you got this morning, Alex, that's really grinding your gears? Anything you want to get off your chest before we watch some old terrible wrestling from way back?
Listen, I did want to talk about the AEW pay-per-view that we just came off of, Dynasty.
Yeah.
And first, when I walked into the arena to just get a feel for things before the show, I have to say this was an incredible venue. I don't know if it really – I complimented the crowd online, Coach Irby, our CEO. Not CEO. That's Mercedes Monet, CFO. But he put out a tweet about the crowd in St. Louis, and I said they were absolutely amazing. But people were right on top of the action.
Yeah.
And you could really feel it. Sometimes you go to these arenas, and honestly, the floor seating, you're pretty far back. And maybe it doesn't add to the viewing experience. Here, I can't imagine there was a bad seat in the house. I sound like Justin Roberts here. But, I mean, the point, though, is with that shameless book that he wrote a few years ago. But in this case, I really thought that added to it. And the crowd responses all night brought out, I thought, the best in our wrestlers. I read this online, and, of course, everything I read online is true. It has helped me a lot in my life, having those guidelines. But someone pointed out that the Pac-Okada match, which, Tony, I'm so glad you pointed out and gave praise to as well, may have been the best opening pay-per-view match, at least in our company history.
Yeah.
Wow.
It just set the tempo for everything else that was to come. And this was a type of show where everything peaked at the right time. I mean, give Tony Khan a lot of credit for the match design that he had through the weeks on Dynamite, on Rampage, on Collision. And listen, it's not easy doing what Tony had to do the past couple of weeks with our shows hopping all around because of the Warner Brothers situation, showing NBA, showing NHL, not having our regular time slots. You have a lot that you have to keep track of. But I really thought that things peaked properly in this sense. We had an incredible buildup, for Danielson and Ospreay, Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland. By the time they got in the ring, you couldn't wait to see what was going to end up happening. Okada and Pac started getting heated up, and you saw in Collision when Pac scored the pinfall on Matthew Jackson in our six-man main event or trios main event, depending upon AEW or Ring of Honor wording. But you get my point here. Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa and Rosa coming out without the face paint. I thought that was different. I thought it was great. I thought these two worked their tails off. I mean, so many matches. I don't want to give anyone short shrift, but it really was just an incredible pay-per-view show from top to bottom or bottom to top. I don't know if we're going to do a better show than that. I know we're always going to try to, but this was about as complete a pay-per-view that you could have, I think. And I'm so proud of the work that everyone at AEW did to make it happen.
I really enjoyed the show, too. I mean, I was watching from the comfort of my recliner at home, but I thought it was a fantastic show, and I even tweeted out, man, what a show. And, Alex, here's where we are with the internet wrestling community at times. I got a dozen DMs saying, I liked WrestleMania better, you fucking idiot. And it's like, wait, what? When did we decide that everything is a competition? Can't you just enjoy something without comparing it to something else? Like, I don't think we have to pick. I think it's okay to like both, Alex. This is a little silly, is it not?
It is. Listen, Bubba Ray Dudley had something really interesting to say a few years ago on Busted Open Radio. And Bubba may have interesting things to say now. I don't listen to the show, but I was at the time, and I listened to what he said. And he said that sometimes you watch a product for hate watching.
Wow.
You're programmed to watch the show. Okay, every Monday night, I'm going to watch Monday Night Raw at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock Eastern time. And I'm programmed to watch it, but I just hate everything that's on there, and I'm going to look for the negative. I have been a victim of this. I have been guilty of it. Back when I was writing, I would watch the end of WCW. In fact, maybe that 1999-2000 era brought out the worst in one Alex Marvez when it came to not enjoying the product. Any little thing that was good was overshadowed to me by so many things that were bad. And we forget about the entertainment aspect of it. You know, I don't have a lot of spare time in my life. And if I'm going to watch something, I want to enjoy it. And I want to be happy, but I want to be a glass half full type of person. I just, again, if you didn't like this show, I honestly think something is wrong with you. And maybe you need to look at yourself and say, why don't I like this show? Why am I so unhappy that I wouldn't enjoy seeing these wrestlers absolutely give it their all with good storylines, good development, good everything moving forward, surprises, you name it. It was fun. I mean, that's the whole thing about it. And I'm not knocking if you love the WWE product, which I haven't watched in more than 20 years, more power to you. That's great. If you love them both, awesome. You're supporting professional wrestling, right? At the end of the day. And the competition does bring out the best in both companies. It's led the development of AEW has led to so many changes now in the business, most notably the forbidden door being opened and companies that are working together, talent that's allowed to switch, sides, so to speak, as frequently as they can, some working as freelancers, et cetera. It's been an incredible boon to the professional wrestling industry, not just for the big two, but everyone on down, independent promotions, et cetera. So, I mean, lighten up a little bit, folks. Enjoy what you have now, because this really is a golden age of professional wrestling.
That's very well said, Alex. Basically, you say all that and say very, very well. I say, go fuck yourself to all of them.
I knew that was coming. Let's get going with the show. We're going to watch some bad wrestling today. We're watching it from way back when, May 1st, 2000. If you're watching on Peacock with us, it's season 6, episode 18 on Peacock. And before we get going, Tony, I think you've got a special countdown for us and maybe something you want to share with us. I'm not sure.
Yeah, absolutely. This countdown comes from our buddy Matt, who's a longtime supporter of ours. And I can't tell you his last name because I always mispronounce it. But hey, girl, that's Scout right there. She's looking for food.
We like Scout.
Hey, we love Scout. So Matt was front row ringside at our pay-per-view. And he was there at Dynasty, and I saw him. And the reason that I saw him was the reason that, I know him to see him, and I went over to talk to him. But Matt had this sign.
Bug rules. I love it.
Isn't it great?
Man, that's
awesome. Matt in the purple Macho Man shirt. I shot that very quickly, boom, with my camera. Didn't get Matt's face because I shouldn't be taking pictures as I'm doing announcing. So I just shot it real quick. Didn't get Matt's face in it, but there you go. And I appreciate that from Matt. So Matt gives us our countdown today, too, by the way, ironically enough.